Hi, my name is Monica Lisset Lopez Abril. Um, I'm a student of the UNAT. Um, I'm a student of the bachelor degree in English as a foreign language, and I'm the ninth semester of my career. Um, I am developing my first practical experience. Um, Thanks to the university, I could develop it in the series of the UNAT. The idea was to create an English club in the series of Socha um, with students of other careers that could be interested in improving their English skills. Um, with the help of the secretary of the university here in the series of Socha, we did the convocatory and we spoke with the students and we decided that the schedule should be on Sundays because this is the day in which most of the students have free time. As you know, the students of the net usually work and have families, so it's difficult to find a schedule that could be useful to everybody. Mm, so we began the practice the English club in the series. The first class came about 11 students, including two children and one teenager that were not students of the NUT, but were children from students of the NUT. Um, so, well, about the questions, how different are you now from the time you started your practicum? Well, I'm different totally because when I began the practice, um, I had many doubts. I was very insecure of myself, of my knowledge, and I was thinking if I really wanted to be a teacher. I thought that maybe I didn't have the patience, the vocation, that maybe I didn't have facility for explain. Um, and I was very afraid because I'm learning. Um, I'm not a fluent speaker. So I was very nervous. But with the development of the practice, I have discovered that that kind of things can be overcome um, because these are situations that will always be presented. I mean, for example, I was very afraid because I thought that the students will probably don't trust me because if they ask me something that I don't know how to answer, well, they will say this girl didn't know anything. How can she teach something if she doesn't know? Um, but with the development of the practice, I realized that we are humans and we can understand that kind of things. And one of the secret of the successful of that practice was that um, there was an environment of confidence between my students and me, so they could understand that kind of things. I told them, hey, I'm a student and um, I am learning also, but the important thing is that we can learn together. And I think that now I think that it is part of a learning teaching process uh, that must be a bidirectional um, process. Both teacher and students uh, must learn every day in each class. Um, in the other hand, I also am different because I am I feel that I am more comprehensive and more conscious about the real implications of preparing a class and being a teacher. Um, at the beginning, I was just thinking in what will I present in the class, what topic, present simple, progressive, or what. But then, with the past of the days and the classes, I become more sensitive about the real needs and motivations of learning of the students. So I began to be more uh, flexible, but also careful in the designing of the classes. Um, I also feel that I am more patient and that I don't spend my mind and my time thinking in things that I could not um, change. Um, I spent so many time trying to be perfect, preparing the class in a way that there were not possibilities of having mistakes, and that's impossible. And now I am more flexible with that things, and also I am more conscious about the rhythm and styles of learning of the students, because nobody is equal to others, so the ways and the times of learning are also different. Okay, in the question about talk about my action plan, um, well, first of all, I have to talk about the weakness that I have found in my practice. For example, the first is my lack of confidence in myself, because I used to distract of my own knowledge. I mean, sometimes I know that I show myself insecure of what I am telling, and sometimes I'm not sure that what I'm telling, but I must be more confident in myself and in my ability of develop a topic or a class. Or weakness that it's very important to me, that keeps me thinking all the time. It's that I don't have enough vocabulary in many topics. I mean, I have studied, but maybe because of the lack of practice at the time of speak, I forget some things, and it is important to me improve that part, because my lack of confidence is also a consequence of that lack of vocabulary and knowledge. Um, I also discovered that I don't use technological tools very often, and technological tools uh, gives offers lots of elements that could help us to improve both English and strategies of teaching. So I need to explore more the technological tools, more when I am a student that works and that doesn't have enough time to go to a face-to-face class. Well, um, another thing or weakness that I have found is that I need to design more didactical activities and strategies, because I used to be so masterly. I mean, I used to explain a topic and and uh, present exercises. I try to my students participate, but I think I should think in more didactical strategies. Um, Also, I have thought that maybe it was because I was working with adults and people who hasn't been in a classroom for years. So when I tried to develop didactical activities, mm, they felt a little ridiculous. So I preferred to develop other kind of activities that make them feel more in confidence, right? But thinking as a future teacher that probably will uh, have to teach to teenagers or children, I must explore more didactical strategies. And well, about the action plan, um, one of my other weaknesses is that I don't have many contact with educational environments. I mean, I work in a totally different environment, so I am not contextualized with real situations, only what I have imagined in the readings, in the courses. But I I haven't teach, so it's difficult to imagine the real implications that this activity has and how to manage them. Um, I think that um, everybody has experiences with the language. Um, Everybody, I mean, my partners, my friends, uh, my relatives. For example, my mother went to the school, so I can ask to her what was or how was her experience in the school, how was her teacher, um, if she felt that these strategies um, were really useful in her knowledge acquisition. Um, so I think I could have that kind of information of everybody around me, and that information could show me what kind of strategies to use, or needs what are the needs that people used to have in learning English. Also, that kind of activities, I mean, asking to the people around me about their experience, could give me a key of what are the motivations that people has, for learning a language. What could I do for motivate people to do it? But well, as I have to work, I think that I must um, use more technological tools. I mean, in my action plan, I will look in the web for pages and blogs in which teachers share their experience and share the strategies that they use in their classes. I know that in the web there is all kind of information, so I just have to look for that information and read more and explore more the web in the things that I need to improve. Um, the idea is that um, this information could give me tools for understanding the real needs of the students and help me to develop strategies that help to the students to acquire knowledge with effectiveness. Well, in the other hand, my other weakness is my level of English. I have to improve my English in all the skills. I mean, vocabulary, pronunciation, listening, grammar, everything. Um, as I told you, I live in a small town. Um, there are not many English speakers here, and I don't have enough time to share with other people. So I think that I must use more the internet and the technological tools for improve that aspect. Because I can travel to other country in this moment, but I can do it in the web. Um, as the question is about time also, I think I should look for strategies that I could use in any moment that take me 5 minutes, 3 minutes. For example, looking for short text or news, pages of news that I could watch in my phone, in my break, um, going from the house to the work, and just read a short text or a new uh, one text for a day, one text a day, could help me to improve um, my vocabulary, my grammar, my knowledge about idioms and expressions. So I will do it. I have beginning. I have begun for inscribing myself in a Facebook page called "How to Speak English Fluently." Uh, it's a very useful full page because it is all the time sharing pictures and images with tips and idioms, and it's all in English. They don't use Spanish, but they use uh, pictures and examples that make easier to understand the meaning of the words or the idioms that they are showing. Um, so it's very useful. This page I have um, enjoyed it a lot. Also, I have an account in the Duolingo. I really haven't used it very often until now, but I am in the compromise of do it since this moment. every day in my free times. 5 minutes, I don't know, 10 minutes. It's not so long. It's just a little moment. It's a game, so it's very useful and it's didactical. Um, I also has the purpose of watching more series and movies in English and to listen in more music in English, because uh, it is the way that I have to learn to listen to native speakers. And I also want to begin to watch and look for more movies about educational environments in order to realize that situations that could happen and how to manage them. It doesn't matter the idea is that movies are very social and shows different situations that could help to analyze the human relationships, the relations between teachers, students, society, parents, the community in general, and um, what is the proposal of education and what is the role of the teacher in the society. So I think it is important to watch more that kind of movies and programs and series. Um, in conclusion about my action plan, um, it is based on the audiovisual and technological tools because for now I can't have face-to-face classes or encounters. My time is short, so I need to use the technological instruments for improving both my English and my teaching strategies. Um, what about the question of what do you think is the most challenging issue for future English teachers, and what would you recommend to solve it? Along my practice experience, my pedagogical experience, I have learned that one challenge is to keep motivated the students. I mean, in my first class, I had about 11 students, but there was a class in which I went to the center and nobody came. Um, there was a class in which only one student came. Anyway, of course, I developed the class. Mm, there was a class in which uh, there were 3 students, and then again there was a class in which there were 7 students. So motivation is an important issue um, to take into account. Um, it's important to analyze what is that thing that uh, make feel the students the necessity of learn. What is that thing that could enchant them with the learning a language? Because sometimes they have the proposal of learning. They say, I want to learn. But the day of the class, they say, I don't know, I prefer to stay with my family. Or I prefer to do another things that I have to do. I prefer to travel. so many things, you know. So it's not enough to have the proposal, I want to learn. It is important to find something that keep them motivated and that they feel the the real necessity or the real love with learning. What I recommend to solve it, well, I would recommend to make to the students know what or why could be useful to learn another language, but um, remind or make them realize that learning is not just a thing for earn money or for having better options in the life. We must learn because it is important for our personal uh, realization. I mean, it is beautiful when someone talks about that, you know, that you understand. It is important and it is good feeling that you understand something or that you know something, even if you don't work in that topic, but you know about it. So it is important that people could feel the love with learning in general, any topic. It doesn't matter if you will never go to the United States and speak with a native speaker. It doesn't matter. The important thing is that you feel proud because you know English, you can understand the song, you can understand a movie, and because of the pleasure of learn. So I think that our society must try to change uh, our mind and give to the education and the learning the real sense that it has. It's not a question of money, it's a question of personal realization and personal pride. Okay, finally, I want to thanks to the university for the opportunity that gives me of develop that practice with students of the UNAT. For me, it was perfect because, well, I had to work and I couldn't go to a school because they study at the same time that I work. So I was very worried about it at the beginning. But well, the university luckily take into account that situations and give me that opportunity of develop my practice in the series. And in the other hand, uh, thanks to a university because this was an opportunity not only to me but also to the other students. It is beautiful to listen to them saying, hey, it was a very good experience. I expect that the next semester we could continue with the English club because um, yes, we read the course, we study in the course, but it's not the same thing that come to a class and practice and speak and feel that you really are acquiring the knowledge. Um, I think that the university must try to give that opportunity to all the students of all the careers because learning a language is a social thing. it is mandatory to practice. It is necessary to have contact with other people and speak, because if we don't practice, we can acquire the knowledge, we can ensure the acquiring of the knowledge. So maybe the university could offer extra points with participating by Skype or something like that, because it is really necessary to have that kind of contact. It is not the same thing to read and to have in the head some contents, that going and stay face to face with someone and speak. We are probably losing the time if we don't practice, because as the ancient said, say, what you don't practice, you will probably forget it. So thanks to the university for this opportunity. It was a bi-directional earn, and that's all for now. And thank you for everything. To the next time. Bye.